Oh, hi lads. Welcome to I think it's the second Spring League match. It's a Gloucester anyway. It's used to be called the Spring League. Anyway, as you probably know, the last match I blew out a little bit, and the team was last. So I think now we've all decided we're just going to fish. Obviously for our individuals, and if we do any good as a team, that's marvellous. But anyway, I've got they done a draw yesterday, and Russell has sent it to me on WhatsApp. So, so I'm actually on 435 at Castle Down, which is the same area that I fished last match, and the match previously, which was the open match. So I can't get away from this area. Anyway, at least I've got a little bit of an idea. They said it was going to be a bit windy today for the pole. Now I know one of our team members done quite well on an open match here with the bread punch. So on the pole. Now the only problem is, of course, if it's going to be windy, the Gloucester Canal, it's like a funnel, and it's very difficult to fish at long distances. So what I probably will end up doing, I got a little trick for that, which if I need to use it, I'll show you what I mean. It's a little bit of a dodge, but it does. It helps to feed the swim. Anyway, I'll show you maybe a bit later if I need to do it, and I'll reveal that little trick. Okay, let's go and have a look with the lads now, because they're all turning up here now. All nice and early. We got 11 o'clock it starts, and it's what's the time? 8:15, so almost 3 hours. Okay, I'll see you up on the peg. Okay, here we are. Well, not at my peg yet. Got this long walk. For those of you who follow my vlog, you'll know that there's a few boats first, which seem to be moored up permanently. I think these are. And he's right up past the bend. I got to walk, and a little bit further than last time. But there you are. I'll see you at the peg now. There's a bit of a trek, so I better stop gossiping and carry on. Okay. You alright? Hiya. I recognise that dog from last time. Okay, just arrived at my peg. Just getting everything off the trolley. Yeah, 435. I tell you what's very noticeable is I'm on like a bank here. So it takes you up, and it's a fair drop then down to the water. So yeah, it's different. Now I was talking to Tony Davis just now, and he was telling me this is the bay, like a bit of a bay, and sometimes you catch a lot of small fish inside. So that's probably why one of our team members actually had that small bag of fish a couple of matches ago. So there you are. So something to I can look at. But I think you need bream or skimmers at least today to get in. Yeah, does my head in, that does, when the anglers start walking the banks before the match, spooking the fish. Yeah, mate. Okay, I'm just getting prepared now. I'm just going to go through a few things. First of all, my black bream ground bait. This is a mixture of fish meal and the seed, as well as crumb and some maize as well. It's a lovely mix. One of the lads, Richie Candy, has won 4 matches and come second twice in the last 6 matches using this down Port Talbot dock, so he's doing extremely well. Anyway, what I've done, I've mixed mine up. I put a couple of dead reds in. Now, there's your dead reds, which I prepared earlier. Now, dead reds, the theory behind the dead maggots is that the fish feel more secure when they eat the dead reds, because it's as though they've been there overnight, and basically that's gives them more confidence, thinking that if they're not alive, they're not going to be caught. You know, they distinguish it with danger, you see. So that's the dead reds. Hi Carl, how are you?
All right,
Can we have a little mooch of you?
have a stretch before the long 5 hours.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. Oh, okay, so there we are. That's the dead reds. Now, I got my casters. I've had to put my casters out. Now I'm just letting them get some air. When they've reached a certain colour, what I'll be doing, well, in fact, I'll do it now. I'll put some water over it. Okay, and that'll stop them turning darker. So, there you are. And also at the same time, any floaters, you can float those floaters. They're handy for the hook. For the hook, then they counterbalance the weight of the hook. Okay, so there's a little tip there. Now I'm going to show you something now that only a few people know about this method, and basically it's dead pink. Yeah, what I've done, I've just sieved them off. Now, as you can see, they're actually alive at the moment. Now this is a little tip, and a little trick that I picked up a couple of years ago on the Bristol Avon. I was short, well, I didn't have any dead pinkies, and dead pinkies for some reason are very good at attracting. Now, obviously they're alive, and this particular match, I thought, what can I do? I know, I'll drown them in water. So what I done, I put water on them. Yeah, and I completely drowned them. Now, basically within a half hour, they're going to be dormant, almost like a dead maggot. Then I'll be introducing these into the ground bait. And so this is a quick way for people who basically haven't killed their maggots the night before. If you go to the bank, and then, you know, half hour to an hour before the match, simply submerge them in water. And the same goes with the normal maggots as well. Now they're starting to stretch. Well, they will do now. At the moment they're still lively. But what I like about this particular method is the fact that they're not rotten dead, they're fresh dead. And to me, that makes a difference with the fish sometimes. Okay, so that's a little tip. So what I've done, I'll leave that now, and I'll keep them submerged in water, and then when I introduce to the ground bait, I'll just simply take a pinch out, put it in the ground bait, obviously when I put it in the feeder. Now, although that was going to be my main attack today, which is basically the feeder, but as I mentioned earlier, one of the lads actually caught fish on the bread punch, and so I'm going to start on the bread punch today, and if it don't show in the first 20 minutes, then I'll come off and go straight onto the feeder. So that's what I'll be doing now with my bread punch. I'll show you now. What I've done, I've liquidized 2 loaves. What I've done, liquidized and sieved them, obviously, so I get a small grade. And what I've done with the bread, fresh bread, but I've actually put them in the microwave, okay, which gives it a bit more tacky sort of substance. So when I punch this, it'll stay on the hook a bit longer than dry bread. By putting it in the microwave, what it does, it actually, I don't know, it's something to do with the vapour inside in the bread. It comes out of the bread, and it makes it more tacky. But obviously you've got to keep it sealed, because as soon as you take the air off, within sort of 20 minutes, it goes dry. So so because I've done that, I've made half a dozen packets up. So, you know, bread's quite cheap enough anyway. So, okay, now I'm going to go through my rigs now. I mentioned the bread, of course, in case you missed that last bit. That's ready to go. Okay, now just quickly go through my rigs. I'm using a cage feeder. So I'm using a cage feeder. The reason I'm using a cage feeder, I was talking to Tony Davis, who's a regular. I don't know if you know Tony Davis, but he's a former Shakespeare superstar, and this is his local water. So he was explaining to me that cage feeders are better because of the silt in the canal. And if you use a sort of a taped up feeder, it sort of buries in the silt. But he was saying with a cage feeder, it stays on top. So what I will be doing, I'll probably start off on a bread punch in the feeder and then switch over to the ground bait, you know, the black bream ground bait with dead maggots and pinkies. Now I've got another rig, no, the helicopter rig, by the way. That's quite simple. All you do, yeah, with a helicopter rig, basically a couple of stoppers on the line just above the feeder, and then you put a swivel, and then you put your tail, and in this case I've got about 2.5 foot. And the beauty of this is that you can actually you can slide the pattern oyster, which is coming from the main line, up and down the line, which basically, because there's a lot of silt on there, I've set this at about 4 or 5 inches, which allow the bread, hopefully, or bread punch, to lay on top, you know, at the silt. The other feeder I've got set up is the old Harrier Feeder. Now, I don't know if the old boys remember this one, but this Harrier Feeder, basically, it's for distance fishing, and it's for coming, when you retrieve it, it comes to the surface. Now, the only reason I'm using this today, I'm going to use this on my pole line, and I'm going to put bread punch in it. So basically, put the bread punch inside, which should expand, and when it hits the bottom, hopefully it'll come out. What I'll do, I'll jig it a bit on the feeder, and but that'll be over the pole line. Now, I mentioned earlier about a little tip. I will actually put it in, initially I'll start cupping this out on a cup, so I know I'm in the right spot when I'm fishing the float. When I line clip it, then next time I cast, hopefully it should land in the same spot. Okay, so there's a little tip, little trick. Okay, and sorry about my fingers being in the way, but it's difficult holding the camera at the same time. So it's a few minutes ago, I see them all chatting. They were going to stand behind my peg, but I never see it flattens the fish up. So right, the wind's picking up, so you never know, it might be a feeder job after all, because when the wind's, you know, channeling down this Gloucester Canal, it's almost impossible to hold the pole out there. So it's going to be one of the matches, just play it by ear and see what happens. But as I said, I will try and start off on the bread punch, either on the feeder or on the pole. Failing that, then I'm afraid it'll be like a gnome sitting on your box waiting for the tip to go around. Okay. As Paul was having a little wander around. Yeah. I suppose that's the thing. If you've got plenty of time, you know, you'll have to have a little chat amongst the fellow anglers. Yeah, all ready to go. About 5 minutes to go, so I'll wait till they're off and hopefully give you a running commentary of what's happening. Let's hope I catch a few this week. The last 2 times I've been down, you've been battered, so that's fishing, especially on the Gloucester, because he's fishing, basically they're in shoals. I know the end peg last week won it with £18, so I wouldn't surprise if the end pegs do it again. So I'm more or less in the middle here, so there you are. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, started. Okay, it's not bad, is it? 10 minutes into a bream, about 2.5, 3 pound. On the bread punch. Okay, the match is into its first hour. Wind's picking up and I couldn't hold the pole out there, that's a problem. So what I've done, I've put the feeder, you know, bread punch feeder, over the same line. Let's see if I get a bite on this. I haven't seen anyone catch any to the left of me, but the guy on the right to me, he's had two. He's had a skimmer, and I think he's had a little bream as well, so yeah, in fact he's into another one. Paul Waddington. Another skimmer, about a pound. Well, it's we're halfway through now, and had a little bit of an eventful sort of hour. I've had 3 or 4 skimmers and had a sander. Now I don't know whether they count, so I've put it in the net anyway. It's really a small one. But I've had them on the bread punch, and I had one on the feeder then, on the bread punch feeder. But it's blowing like hell now, and I just can't hold a pole out there. You know, I mean, some of them are trying, but oh, it's just the wind's just too much today now. I mean, it's dry, that's the main thing, but sorry about the action. I can't really show you much action with the wind blowing, and you know, as I say, I'm just sat on the tip at the moment. So I'd give you a shot of this wind and trying to hold the pole. Actually, it's eased up a little bit, but when the wind catches the pole, it's hard to hold on to it. Oh, there it goes, like a banana sometimes. Well, I've had to go on that feeder. I didn't have any bites on it, so I've gone back on the pole now. That seemed to be the most productive. But then, saying that, I haven't had to fish on this for a while now, so. Oh, bloody hell. Trouble is, you're getting this top surface drift, and you're not getting the right presentation, I don't think. Oh, looks like you'll have to go back on the feeder. Another little skimmer. Well, I had that on the far side on a single pinky, so yeah. Okay, hour to go. Not looking too good now. Can't see anyone catching. Although saying that, he had one just below me about 20 minutes ago. I don't know if Paul above me's had any more, but typical Gloucester, just you know, just like turns the tap off. It's getting a bit cold as well now with this wind. So there you go. Anyway, let's see what I got to weigh in now shortly. I expect the end pegs are probably backed up like they did last week, so usual case, both ends. Anyway, I've enjoyed myself. I've had a nice big one, you know, a couple of pounds, and then a couple of small ones. Zander, the roach, had a roach, and that's about it really. I can't wait to get back on the rivers. Okay, speak later. They're just coming down the scales now. I'm just going to have a quick chat with this guy next to you. What do you have your fish on? You don't mind me asking?
Small red worm.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you kept plodding away across it, didn't you?
Oh, I couldn't catch on the pole.
No.
You had one early, didn't you?
I had one, yeah, that was my...
Good start.
That was a good start, but I didn't have much after that.
No,
And
I couldn't present it right.
I mean, the last hour you had a couple of nice ones there, I thought.
Yeah, and I've had
Yeah.
a liner as well with 2 minutes to go.
Oh, bloody
I
hell.
would have gone again.
Right.
I just kept plodding it in. I was going nowhere.
Yeah.
I've had a roach on it and
Yeah.
close
Where
lines.
are you from?
Worcester.
What's that? Oh, it's not bad then. Not far. Just up the road.
It was a good day though, wasn't it? Blew a hoolie.
Oh, I
didn't it?
tell you what, that
Blew a
bloody pole was bent in
hoolie. I
half.
thought it was
was.
going to. I thought you were going to. When you had that one, I thought, oh, you might have 2 or 3.
Well, I thought that, to be honest. You know, that would have been very nice. But
you couldn't present it right. Could
no,
you?
that was the trouble, you know. Yeah, he's admitting to about £5 next to me, and he reckons he got about 7 or 8 on the other side of him. So
7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think Andy's caught.
yeah,
He's got a bream and he's also got about 10, 12 fish to go with it.
yeah. Any good?
No.
No.
You.
Oh. Yeah, it's a funny old day. Oh well.
How does that count? Give me a fucking good bite. Fuck me, some fish in.
That's not a bad net of fish. They're bigger than you said. You're lying bugger.
They're not even an angler. 7 dead.
Yeah, there you are. So much for your £5. Does hand account?
No.
Oh, I
Well,
got
it's
that.
not, 'cause I've got a fucking rack.
Well, I know I got one in mine then. I'll throw mine back. They
count,
don't, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Not that matters, like. Okay, I'm back in the car now. Just started to rain, so I made a quick beeline, you know, back to the van. Right, what happened today? Basically, started off well, didn't I? You know, I had that nice bream, and then I had a run of skimmers and roach, and then they just died. And I swapped then from bread punch over to pinkies, and I had one, that's Zander, bloody thing, and I also had one little skimmer, 515 I weighed. It's, you know, probably well up in the section, but I heard there was a £10, there was a couple of 8s and a 7, so, and 6s, so, you know, I'll probably do the, you know, say midway or something like that. Maybe, anyway, I'll know later on when they put the results on the internet, because it's all internet based now, isn't it, you know. So anyway, thanks for watching. Come back on the next one. Next one's in a fortnight, so I don't know whether I'll be fishing anymore before that, but okay.